and it's funny looking at the chat. So Joe P's got a great question, and we were talking a little bit about this right before we jumped on the air. So looking at New Trail, your beers are amazing, and we'll get into all of that in just a second. But I mean, it's funny. I'm drinking the Candy Hearts right now, which I love, and I seriously, I was saying, I wish I could just hang up your cans like art, like the patterns, the designs, like. So first of all, like, who does all that design for you? And second of all, like, what influences all these different cans and the artwork that goes behind it?
Sure. So the art for the cans comes from three primary sources. Originally, it came from a guy by the name of Ryan Keats, who owns a small design company in Lancaster, which is called Foxduck. If anybody travels through Lancaster, it's right on the main street near the farmers market. He does T-shirts and just general graphic work. He's very talented. So he came up with the original branding behind New Trail, and he did a lot of the cans from day one until about, I'd say, 6 months ago or so. Our design work became so much that we needed to bring in an in-house graphic designer. And she's very talented. Her name's Alyssa, and she's been with the company, like I said, for about 6 months. So anything that's come out in the last, I'd say, 3 months is probably a pretty good guess that it came from her, or at least anything that's new. And then
all your winter ones with the mountains.
Yeah. And then I will do some of the graphic design work too, depending on what's needed. So I took a few design courses, and I focused on photography when I was in high school. So I'm a little literate in Adobe. So when projects were tight about a year ago, and Ryan was too bogged down, I'd be like, well, screw this, I guess I'm just going to do it. So things like Mountain, Forest, all those beers are sort of spurred from me. Refracted Aurora was mine.
I love Mountain with you can see it if you look closely, and Brent's drinking that right now in the chat.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're brewing Field, I believe, actually right now. I think at the brewery they're actually brewing Field just this very moment. So
it's funny. So Whiteout, I think I just saw on social media, was released today too. How much fun was going into putting that beer together?
It was awesome. So Whiteout we released last year for the first time, and that was one of the first times we used a new hop, which at the time was called HBC 692. It was an experimental hop, and it just got named Talus about 6 months ago. They just unveiled that as like a primary hop for them. So we were super excited to use it. It was a derivative of Sabro. I don't know if you guys know Sabro hops, but they're very like coconut forward. And that was really exciting. And HBC 692, now known as Talus, it has coconut. It was like it's a daughter or a sister of Sabro. I can't quite remember. But it showed the other side of the tropical spectrum. So it's like super pineapple-y. It's definitely got coconut. It's papaya. It's really rich. It's really a fun hop to play with. So we paired that with I think it's Simcoe and Citra in Whiteout. Forgive me for not knowing off the top of my head.
No, are you kidding me? I'm just sitting here. So you're talking to someone that looks like hops. I'm just like, that's all I know. If you said, what goes into making beer? I'm like, there's hops in it. Like, it's super bad. Like with Nick Lovin, where he's like, I heard they put more hops in it. Like that's where I'm at with the whole process.
No, but it was fun to formulate. It was a neat hop to play with, and I'm very excited that they decided to move forward with Talus as a hop. So Whiteout's sort of like our first stab at trying to use that hop last year, and I'm very excited for this year's batch. I had some the other day. So,
well, and speaking of your hops, like this is probably, forgive me for asking this probably like in a rookie way, but the one thing I love about your beers, and this might sound like weird because if anything, it probably sounds like, wait, they taste the same. I feel like there's a consistent taste in all your beers. They're all different, but they have this consistent, almost like backbone to them that is just phenomenal. I guess that's like, I'd always be like, oh, it's that fresh New Trail taste. Like it's something where it's like if you taste it, whether it's a stout, whether it's a double hazy, like right, it doesn't. Whether it's a pilsner, like every one of those expedition packs, like I could tell, it's like, oh yeah, like this is got that New Trail taste to it. Like what is that?
I don't know. I mean, I guess
the industry secret.
Yeah, it's not. It's not me standing over the kettle going like this to make it taste better. I can tell you that much. It's a process, probably, is what you're tasting. I mean, you're talking about consistency. Brewing is all about consistency. So I have a really strong team of brewers and packaging guys, and we all operate under the same SOPs. So the idea is just to make the most quality-driven beer that we can. And I suppose what you're tasting might be like house character, like you talk about, like if you are into wine, like certain vineyards definitely have distinctive flavors, whether or not you're drinking one vintage to the next. You know, I'm sure New Trail has that same sort of effect. We have a signature flavor, I suppose.
And I gotta ask, I know we're talking about, your ingredients and all the crazy, mixtures of everything and the artwork. How do you come up with some of these names? I mean, the names are great. They're creative. Like, is it the same as commercial? Are you guys sitting down drinking your beer and then coming up with names, or
no? I mean, oftentimes the name is formulated before the actual beer is. Just because if you think about it, you have to design a label. It has to be approved by the federal government. It has to be approved by the state. So oftentimes, and we'll formulate different flavors for the names that we develop, but a lot of times it's sitting in a room, yucking with each other, just trying to throw shit against the wall and see what sticks.
So is it like you kind of look out and see what's going on in the world and come up with something, or like the time of year?
Well, certainly. I mean, the idea is to kind of evoke memories or inspire you to want to go to certain areas and do certain things. I mean, that's what the entire concept behind the brewery is to kind of show how wonderful North Central Pennsylvania is and how great the outdoor culture is in Pennsylvania. So sometimes it's as simple as like, do you remember sledding as a kid? Like, we're like, yeah, it's a great name, sledding, let's do that. And things like goggles and flannel weather. I mean, if you come through Central Pennsylvania between October to December, I think just about everybody's in a flannel. So
with boots on, absolutely.
Yeah.